Shalom, I want to talk about the situation about the Palestinian two-state idea. Clearly, there is a significant challenge. You've got two peoples that claim the same territory. Of course, I think the children of Israel were promised that land by God 4,000 years ago. That hasn't changed. They've been tied to that land for 4,000 years. They've only left when they were forced to by stronger powers. We pray for it every day to return to Jerusalem many times a day. Jerusalem is mentioned over 680 times in the Hebrew Bible. It's clear that the Jewish people have a deep connection to that land. Now, who are the Palestinians? No idea. They're not mentioned anywhere in human history. When do they become a nation, a people? I have no idea. But that being the case, there are people that call themselves the Palestinians. The world recognizes such a people exist. Right now they're split between two territories that are geographically separate, the Gaza Strip near Egypt and the West Bank of the Jordan River on the right side of Israel. Now Hamas, which is this terrorist organization that says they're going to kill Jews everywhere, destroy the state of Israel, they're in control of Gaza. And Fatah, the Palestinian Authority, is in charge of the West Bank, kind of, although there's a civil war seemed to be going on between the two groups. Who knows how strong the Palestinian Authority really is in the West Bank. Now, what's the history of the territory? Well, when Israel became a state in 1948 till 1967, Gaza was controlled by Egypt, and the West Bank was controlled by Jordan. Those two nations left those people to rot in those refugee camps, didn't do anything about it. They could have created a Palestinian state any time. They didn't want to. Now, Jordan is 2/3 of the original area of Palestine the Bible talks about, and 2/3 of its citizens are Palestinians, are not Jordanian, the same Arab group as the Jordanians. Now, think about the Palestinians, the Palestinian Authority, for example. Arafat, who was the predecessor of Abbas, who was the head of the Palestinian Liberation Organization, that was founded in 1964. Now, Israel didn't control the West Bank and Gaza Strip in 1964. So what did they want to liberate Israel of? What did they want to liberate? They wanted to liberate Israel. So when they talk about the two-state solution, when Abbas talks about it, he says openly, I don't mean a Jewish state. What he wants to see is a Palestinian state, and then another state where Jews can live, but it won't be a Jewish state. He says that openly. And one of the preconditions of solutions for the Palestinians is to let millions of supposed refugees who supposedly lived in homes inside Israel supposedly go back there. That would mean the end of a Jewish state. So it would be two states, but neither one would be Jewish. So, Mr. President Obama, when you say that Netanyahu trying to force Israel to talk about a solution to us two states, what two states are you talking about, and with whom should Israel exactly talk? Hamas, who wants to kill all Jews, to destroy Israel, and Abbas, who says you can have two states, but one can't be Jewish. Neither one can be Jewish. Now, Rabbi Danny Gordis said something very interesting, which I think is so true. He said, there's nothing Jews could do or Israel could do to solve this problem. They could grant every single concession to the Palestinians. They could return to supposedly the 67 borders. They could divide Jerusalem up. They could do everything. It wouldn't solve the problem because Hamas and Hezbollah and Iran still say we're going to destroy Israel and destroy Jews. No matter what, there's nothing the Jews in Israel can do to solve this problem. But if the Palestinians wanted to solve the problem, they could do it tomorrow. The only question then would be, as Rabbi Gordis says, would it be a tunnel or a bridge between the West Bank and Gaza? So that is the huge dilemma here. Israel doesn't want to continue ruling over these people that don't want to be ruled, understandably, but how can you possibly allow the West Bank Palestinians to have an army? They could decide any day. They're within inches of the land of Israel, of Jerusalem. They could decide any day to turn on Israel. Right now, missiles are flying every day from Gaza. Even though Israel went in with Operation Cast Lead and did a significant harm to the Hamas infrastructure, there's still missiles flying. And the only reason the terrorists have stopped suicide bombing is because Israel built a security barrier. They had no choice. Because, imagine the United States or any other country was being bombed and missiled every day. Well, they would do something about it too. Now, no nation has ever had to return land to right a supposed wrong. Why should Israel be the only country ever in history? In terms of refugees, about 750,000 Jews lived in Arab lands for 2,500 years, and they were expelled when Israel became a state between 1948 and 1950. There was no compensation. They were just kicked out. So even if it's true that there are refugees, Arab refugees, why should Israel be treated differently than every other nation in the history of the world? So that is essentially the dilemma. Netanyahu, the new prime minister of Israel, says explicitly he's willing to make peace. He wants to allow the Palestinians to rule themselves. The problem is, who was he supposed to talk to? Who was willing to make peace with Israel? Who's willing to say Israel as a Jewish state can live there? And how can they have assurances that as soon as there's a Palestinian state, there won't be armed and missiles coming like there are from Hamas now and Hezbollah? Because Israel has a right to live in security and in peace. So the ball is in the Palestinian court to demonstrate they can live in peace, they want to live in peace. Because again, finally, if there's nothing Jews or Israel can do to solve this problem, they could grant every single concession. And the proof in the pudding is that when Ehud Barak, who's now the defense minister, was prime minister at Camp David with Bill Clinton and Arafat, he offered 98% of the land. He offered it. And still, Arafat rejected it and started Intifada number 2. So, but if the Palestinians really want to solve this problem, they could do it tomorrow. Shalom.